Hello, gay people. Welcome to episode 11 of Kings on the Aux, the podcast where drag kings talk music and gender performance. I'm your host, Caius Crow, also known as Ben. I can't believe we're already in October, which makes this our first Halloween episode. It's very special to me, since my performance background is alternative drag and often horror-influenced drag. So this is the time of year where I feel most at home. And I think we can say the same for my guest this month, Bram Stroke-her. I was there when Bram debuted back in January 2024, and I was so thrilled because he's a vampire king, and he's so committed to the character. He's got the full backstory and lore. He wears really sick fangs, and he paints his whole body blue. That is professionalism and dedication there. He's performed recently on high-profile Cleveland stages, including the Ohio Burlesque Festival and the Beastwind Ballroom's Drag Pride Showcase. And of course, he made all vampires proud by achieving top 3 on Kingpin Season 2. So, knowing all the effort that Bram puts into his art, I knew he would be an amazing guest for the show, and this conversation did not disappoint. I don't want to spoil too much of the interview, but if you don't already know, you will learn that Bram has a tendency, a habit, perhaps even a curse of breaking his furniture. Specifically, bed frames. In 4 years, he has gone through 4 beds and a futon due to, and I quote, activities. So if you like drag kings, and you like trans people, and this episode brings you any amount of joy, please consider donating to Bram's Broken Bed Fund. You can find his payment details in the show notes below. In this episode, we focus on Bram's performance of Disturbia, the Cabs rock cover of the Rihanna song, which he developed for Kingpin's Got You Covered challenge. This is a highly theatrical and also really vulnerable performance focused on mental health. So, when Bram and I were planning this interview, it was important to both of us to also talk about his experience with dissociative identity disorder. There are a lot of misconceptions around DID and not enough positive representation, so I'm really grateful that Bram brought his perspective. And throughout this interview, I deeply appreciated Bram's Appalachian sense of humor, which makes him so easy to talk to. I hope you enjoy our conversation. So, on this podcast, we've made many mentions of the Got You Covered challenge and what it entails, but for anyone who isn't caught up, what was the challenge that you were tasked with?
Essentially, we had to take songs or artists that are typically done by drag queens. So, in my case, I chose a Rihanna song, but do a male vocals cover version of it. So I'm trying to remember, oh God, this was almost a year ago now, so I'm trying to remember what everybody did.
There was definitely a wide breadth of genres represented.
Oh yes, I definitely did appreciate about that. Our season of Kingpin, we had a variety of drag of what we did. We had a couple of us alt guys, real truly creepy creature type stuff, and then we had it was just it was such a good variety.
It really was. Yeah, I did really love seeing that challenge because I think that Ryder Slowly's concept for the challenge really pinpoints a key experience for drag kings. I've done male covers of songs originally by women. I honestly can't think of a drag king who hasn't.
Yeah. That's I think a pretty common experience for a lot of us. Yeah.
Why do you think that drag kings may feel more drawn to covers, especially gender-swapped covers?
I think a lot of it has to do with just kind of gender play in general. I think part of it might be those songs are so well known to begin with, and sometimes you want I do a lot of deep cuts. I am known for doing a lot of deep cuts. I rarely ever do like a top 40 or even a top 100 song.
Like when you do a top 40 song, it's like an event. Like I see that you will like promote it as like guys. I'm getting into pop for this one. I'm doing Adam Lambert tonight, guys. Guys, you won't believe this.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I think sometimes like for shows, like people want to be doing stuff that other people can really get into, like sing along, that kind of thing. I think that has partially to do with it. I feel like that's a large part to do with it. I will always just do what I want to do. Sometimes, I will absolutely like change courses. Like if I'm doing a brunch, okay, I'm going to slightly change what I'm doing, what I typically do. Like I wouldn't do, the same stuff that I would do for Black Mass Open Stage here in Cleveland that I would do for Monica Lexon's Brunches of Fun. Definitely different crowds. So you do, I think, as a drag artist, have to kind of, you do have to gear yourself to what your audience is going to be. But at the same time, I'm still going to do it my way.
And I think that doing it your way can be also like the other important piece of finding a cover, because I think that like finding the right usually male rock cover of a particular pop song for you is its own like rite of passage as a drag king. For like, you get the opportunity to like, it's simultaneously a top 40 song and a deep cut because no one's heard this version.
Oh yeah, exactly. I love Rocky Switch's metal cover of Pink Pony Club. I delight. I'm so glad I got to see that in person. I delight so much in. No, that was great. So like I do really enjoy stuff like that, especially when they take like a pop song and it's like more of an alternative style of music they like cover it with. I'm just like, yes.
I think the so far untapped niche of drag king performances is ska covers of electronic music. I feel like no one has done... there's such a huge volume of these covers out there, and very few people have done them. So this is not related to what you're doing at all. I'm just putting out into the universe that I want to hear more ska covers of pop music, please.
Honestly, let's do a ska cover band show. Let's do it. Like right now, I'm trying to get a cowboy versus vampire show together with my drag brother, Judas Butler. So many people are interested in that. Yeah. I put in a poll, and within 24 hours, I had 50 people saying they wanted casting.
Shit, that's like a year's worth of shows.
Yeah. And we're hoping that if we get this together and it goes well, we could make it like a quarterly show because like we're both busy. I work full time. They're a grad student. It's just like a monthly show, probably.
The producer life is crazy. Like, don't do it.
It does. I want to get into producing. I absolutely do, but I'm going at it slow. I'm talking to other producers and things like that. But like, I do have like several ideas I kind of want to bring to fruition. But it's one of those like people don't realize how much it costs. Like you have to be prepared to eat the costs.
Oh yeah. You're the last person who gets paid. Like, ethically,
absolutely.
That's how it goes.
Like, for example, like for my birthday show, we raised $551 for Trans Ohio. I paid everyone a base fee plus split door. I didn't take a part of that split door. The only thing I kept for myself for my birthday show was the cash tips I was handed during my numbers. So that was a grand total of $35. Everything else went to Trans Ohio or went to the other performers because to me that is far more important. And, my whole point for the birthday show was to like raise money for Trans Ohio. It wasn't to like make money for myself. So it's just like, but yeah, you got to be prepared to eat the costs. I paid all the performers out of my own pocket. So like nothing that like, because like most of the time, even for this, like all the pay is coming from the door. No, I wanted everybody to like get paid for their time, at least by a decent amount, but I didn't want it to be fully taken from the door. Like I was very particular about how I wanted to run the show and how I wanted to fundraise. But yeah, like, we see these things where like performers try to get into producing and I don't think they're fully ready for that idea. Well, and even then I'm nervous because I'm just like, okay, I want to do this, but I want to do it for the right reasons. I want to make sure people are getting paid. Nobody's getting exploited. Everybody is getting paid for their time, but I'm also not like bleeding out financially for it. So it's like one of those like, you got to be like prepared for it. And I
Yeah.
don't think a lot of people who like, they think producing is going to be like super fun and stuff like that. Like maybe just try hosting, because like absolutely a lot of times people produce shows and they book like people to host. Like maybe that is like what you want to do instead of necessarily producing. Sorry, this was a whole tangent, but
No, it's an absolutely correct tangent. Keep going.
but that was like pretty much like all I wanted to say on it. It's just like definitely there's so much creativity and so many like only so many opportunities out there, and I do want to create more opportunities, especially for kings, especially for alt performers, that kind of thing. But it's like, if I'm going to do it, I want to do it right.
Yeah. All that to say, if somebody else wants to pick up the all ska cover show idea, Bram Stroke-her is very busy.
Especially, I'm essentially taking a drag hiatus in October. I have
Right.
one singular booking, and that is because along with like my day job, which is, you know, just an regular office job that does not pay enough, I am a scare actor for Nightmare Cleveland, which is basically if Fallout 4 and Last of Us had some kind of weird mutant baby in Soviet Russia.
Crazy.
Like, it's some crazy stuff in there. It is, oh my God, I've never seen a haunted house like this. It's like in the Parma area. But I think between both my jobs in October, I'm working like 280 hours. I have no time for drag. I have a singular show, which will be for Bingo Deathmatch at Dunlap's. Yes, this is the first time Ben Wretch has ever done a specifically Halloween show. So this is on Wednesday the 29th. I think Ben has been asked to do Halloween shows and was just adamantly like, no, I'm not going to do a Halloween show, and then finally got worn down and then tapped me for this like several months ago, and I'm like, you're lucky this is on a Wednesday, because otherwise I'd be scare acting.
Yes.
But immediately I'm like, yes, please. Get like I love Bingo Deathmatch. For anybody
Wonderful.
who is not aware of what Bingo Deathmatch is, it has nothing to do with bingo whatsoever.
Nothing.
It's usually drag performers. It can be other performers like musicians, things like that as well. So it's not just strictly drag, but it's kind of like a variety game show. Oh my God, the last one I managed to go to was the one with Macho Grande and Lil Bottom, and I got to see both full body tackle Ben Wretch to the ground multiple times, because the thing was they had to wrestle their phone away from them and not doom scroll. Like, that was the challenge. And so they had to full bodies. Again, if you are not going to Bingo Deathmatch, you're missing out.
I hope Ben Wretch is insured for this thing.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. But it's a beautiful show, and I can't wait to see what me being on there is like. It's gonna be fun.
Can't wait. That's going to be fantastic. So, to the meat and potatoes of our interview.
I am Irish. I do like this.
Beautiful. Like we said, you chose the Cabs cover of Disturbia by Rihanna. So why that song and why that cover?
I actually have been listening to that cover for so many years. I really like that cover. And like, again, I don't really do a lot of pop music, so I'm just like, shoot. Like, I was really like, what am I gonna do? Like, how kind of like Kingpin timeline was set up. We all got casted in like August. We had our first like in-person meeting beginning of October, where we also like, I think, did our promo photos and went over all the details for all the challenges, because like the names of the challenges were released for like when we were applying, so we knew like the names, but we didn't know necessarily all the criteria for it. So I already had a general idea, and I already like had in like kind of like my mind's like, okay, I want to do this particular cover. Mostly because like I already had a full on like idea in my mind for this. Like, I have dealt with a lot of issues around my mental health and stuff like that. I am still physically recovering from going through serotonin syndrome for unknowingly for years. When I first started drag, I needed a cane to walk. Even during my debut, my legs gave out on me, and I just started doing floor work for the rest of the number. And luckily, most people didn't pick up on the fact it was because I couldn't stand up.
I have told you vocally that I fully thought that was planned.
No, like going down to the ground was planned. Not being able to get back up was not a part of the plan. And that's like a story I also tell people who are worried about their debuts. And I'm like, listen, it's fine if you fuck up. Just keep going with it. And most people probably won't fucking remember.
Exactly.
But I used to, especially when I was on these medications that were causing the serotonin syndrome, I dealt with a lot of psychosis. I dealt with a lot of like audio and visual hallucinations, mostly in the form of like shadow people and things like that. And kind of this is a bit of kind of a love note to myself for like surviving through that.
Yeah.
So like during this number, I have 3 friends. These friends are Judas Butler, Butch Thespian, and Maine Void. They are in black morph suits and wear like all black clothing over it. Because I'm like, I understand if you don't want to wear just a morph suit because everybody can see everything. So I was just like, solid black clothing over it. Absolutely. That is fine. And they're like accosting me during this number. Like they are, Maine Void has my flog and is like flogging me during this number. They're tying me down to a chair. They're dragging me around. They're picking me up. It's a very like physical number. And it is like just essentially kind of like a letter to myself for having to deal with like psychosis and hallucinations and full breaks from reality for so long. Essentially, once I got off those medications, the hallucinations fully stopped. Like I've been like a year without hallucinations now. And it like after I got through the withdrawals and stuff like that, because I did have to go, I was on these medications for years. Going without any hallucinations was a wild experience for the first time because this was like a daily occurrence for me.
Oh, yeah.
And so I kind of wanted to, again, it's kind of like a love note to myself and like the things that I've gone through and like lived through, even if that's something I like no longer experience. And it meant a lot to have those 3, like, because this is such a personal number for me. This is like such a deeply personal number. Like so what I wear during this number is usually a big flouncy shirt, boxer shorts, and hospital socks, like psych ward hospital socks.
That you rhinestoned,
That
correct?
I rhinestoned. And the thing of it is, like, those are my actual psych ward socks.
Yeah.
I got those
Your
socks.
actual grippy socks.
My actual grippy socks. The last time I got discharged from an inpatient psych facility, it was on my 19th birthday.
Ooh.
Like, day of. Like, some people in the community know I have a lot of anxiety and fear around my birthday. It is September 12th. You can imagine the day before my 4th birthday being very, very... But a lot of things historically bad things have happened around my birthday. And so I get a lot of birthday anxiety and stuff like that. But so, also did not help with my birthday show because I'm just like, I need everything to not fall apart. I need things to go well or I'm going to lose it. But
Real.
I rhinestoned my own hospital socks I got from my last psych ward stay. And like, that is essentially all I am wearing.
Yeah.
But so even like the pieces of the costume are very deeply personal.
Yeah. No, I remember seeing you do that live like at Kingpin, and it really was intensely both vulnerable, like emotionally vulnerable, and also like physically, like super physically involved. You mentioned your shadows that are like accosting you, but can you get a little bit more into that staging? Because you let me know, and I know that you do this, something that Bram Stroke-her does for most, if not all, of his numbers is like detailed, like line by line, like scene and staging notes.
Yeah, especially if I'm working with other people. I try to. Sometimes I don't have the time to, and that's fine. Like it's a nice tool to use. Essentially, how I have it broken down, I have it right here on my phone, is I have all the lyrics written out, and then basically in like bolded, underlined brackets will be like the staging notes. For example, I have right up here. So these are the notes specifically for, because I had notes for Kingpin for like Muse Gastropub, like because it depends on the layout.
It's very open and it's got the tables and then there's like the elevated stage, but like stairs off of it. Like I'm sure that layout was important to factor in.
These notes are from my birthday show, which was held at Note Class. So obviously I also like took some of the notes I got from the judges about some of the pacing and stuff like that and tried to like tweak that a bit. So like these notes are slightly different from Kingpin, but like the very first part I say main position towards the back of the room, Judas within the crowd / center, Butch hunched in the corner of the stage, chair and rope in the center of the stage, Maine will have flog. Then underneath it, Bram will start at the end of the walkway facing the stage. Once music starts, he starts walking towards the stage, and then like it'll go through like a section of the music, and then a note like, so after like, I'm pretty sure everybody knows Disturbia.
Everybody knows Disturbia.
It doesn't
by
really
Rihanna.
matter that it's the Cabs cover, but kind of like after that first intro with all the bum bum dee dum dums, I don't
all
know
the vocalizing.
All the vocalizing and stuff like that. You know, I have Shadow start moving towards Bram through the crowd, except Butch, who will circle the stage, keep movements slow, a bit jerky. So, like, I'm also trying to give, like, kind of, like, characterization to, like, them as well and all of that. But it kind of just, it goes through, like, with the pacing, like, hey, at this point, we're going to be up on the stage. At this point, we're running around. At this point, I want to be grabbed. At this point, you're like, you know, forcing me into the chair. But especially if I'm working with other people. I did similar notes for my other number for my birthday show where my drag dad was involved.
Your drag dad, Fairy Tales?
Fairy Tales, Mr. Nice Guy of season 1 of Kingpin, who witnessed me crawling around like a worm at my debut and just like, I want that one.
Yeah.
But fun fact, he is also my boss outside of drag.
Oh, yes.
He is my boss at work, which is kind of why I picked him for the other number I did, which was kind of like, he was kind of this taskmaster, like, no, you have to keep working kind of figure. And I was just like, yeah, that's partially the joke. I'm having my boss literally be the taskmaster.
That's
of
crazy.
This number.
I love that.
But yeah, that's kind of how I like. And when we had gotten, I think I reached out to everybody. So Kingpin started in January. This would have been the first week of February for this particular week. I had reached out to everybody for this in like November. And then we had like multiple meetings where we kind of went over choreography, like what we wanted to do and stuff like that. So like it was very planned out, but also how I set up the choreography, because again, it's just like there's going to be a lot of people. I give it a lot of fluidity, so that way, like if we kind of have to pivot from a certain thing, we can.
Yeah.
Like let's say like somebody like, you know, part of the crowd's in the way, or like, you know, we try to make it so there's no like really hard cut choreography, because it is a very chaotic number. So it's just like that way it's more like suggestions of like, hey, we want to be doing this at this point type of thing. For my birthday show, this number was right after my younger brother, my actual brother, brought me on stage. Everybody was expecting him to do a bit, and then he opens up with the most sincere fucking speech I ever heard. Homer Erotic is holding me in the back because I'm trying not to cry right before my number. Like my younger brother, he started off and he's like, you know, Max, because, you know, to him, I'm Max. Yeah. Doesn't matter if I'm there as Bram Stroke-her in Painted Blue. To him, I am Max. He's just like, you know, he's the one who really taught me what it is to be a man, what true healthy masculinity is, what it is to be like a community member, and like just going on and on and on. Cry. No, like I'm like kind of tearing up thinking about it. Like my brother genuinely means so much to me. We've been through a lot together and supported each other through a lot. So like especially if you see photos that I've posted of that particular number from my birthday show, like you can kind of see like the emotional turmoil on my face during that number. That was mostly because I was still trying not to fucking cry. Oh, I don't know where I was going with that.
We were talking about well, in general, we've been talking about the staging for the no class version of this number as opposed to the Kingpin version. Yeah,
like with no class, it's a lot more of an open room. There's not like tables everywhere. Like people aren't like like there's some like seating on the very edge of the walls, but
it's kind of like a straight shot.
It's a pretty straight shot. So like, you know, being able to kind of like playing around that was definitely different than like Muse. It was also a lot easier to access the stage because it was basically a straight shot to the stage and stuff like that. But like, yeah, no, I'm trying to remember all of my notes while also trying not to cry because my brother made the most like, you know, heartwarming speech. Legitimately, like, yeah, Homer was like holding me. I was just like turning away. I'm like, Homer, I'm about to cry.
Oh, no. I love that. Yeah, the amount of both emotional development, but also like really professional organization that went into this number, I think really shows in how well it played out. That's amazing.
Yeah. No, I try to be professional about things. I'm a very chill, relaxed guy, but I do try to be professional about certain things. I do want things to go well. I don't want to... me and Judas have this thing where like if something is like kind of half-assed in like King Drag, we say it's... all cock, no balls. There's no strong foundation. And then if it has a strong foundation but needs polish, we say it's all balls, no cock. And then if it's done really, really well, like if it is like a fully rounded number, like everything is like thoughtful and well done and polished, we say, oh, that's all cock and balls.
Okay, I think
I want to get that going. I want that to become a thing.
Yeah, so I need a second. I need a second to think about that. Okay, that was my second. I'll help you popularize that. I think that that's incredibly useful, actually.
No, because it's just like, yeah, like, you know, one is just like, okay, this is half-assed in a way where, like, okay, I can see the strong foundation. You're not putting the effort in. The other is just like, okay, I can see, like, this just needs more polish. Like, you know, it's like, it's different ways of saying, like, you know, something is, like, not quite there, but, like, for different reasons. Then, of course, like, the, like, oh, that was excellent. Yes, that's all cock and balls.
Yeah, great. Well, speaking of, I'm sorry, I don't know. My new pivot.
I broke the host.
You did break the host, and that's very hard. No one has successfully done that, Bram Stroke-her.
Oh, listen. When you got 13 people living in the same meat suit, you got a lot of... So I have DID, Dissociative Identity Disorder, and I do talk about it a lot, especially with my drag. It was formerly known as multiple personality disorder.
Yes.
That officially came out of use in the clinical sense in 1994. It is still what most people know it as.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And of course it gets like a really like bad rap. It is a trauma-based disorder. Essentially, it is usually 90% of cases it is due to physical and SA abuse as a young child, typically before the age of 6. 10% of the other 10%, it's usually things like medical trauma. That's what it was in my case, experiencing houselessness, growing up in a war zone, things like that. Like, it is prolonged, repeated trauma, and essentially walls are made. We all, as like very young children, essentially don't have a solidified personality. That's why, like, when you're dealing with young children, a lot of times they'll love something one second, hate it the next. It's because they don't have a solidified personality. That solidification comes in to play usually between the ages of 6 and 10. With repeated prolonged trauma, instead of that fusion happening and creating the like solidified singular personality, walls are built instead. So that's essentially like what happens with me. It's also a very underdiagnosed diagnosis. I almost said 10%. 1% of the population is diagnosed, and that is still incredibly underdiagnosed because it can hide a lot as things. I was misdiagnosed as bipolar for a very long time, and most people don't realize that they are a system. They don't realize it at all. I became self-aware July of last year. Yeah, so like even for me, that is like relatively new, and I fully knew what DID was. Like, one of my very close friends of over a decade has DID and been self-aware for about that same amount of time. So like I was already like very versed in that and stuff like that and what it looks like. They even thought for a while, they're like, I think Max is a system and they don't realize it yet.
It's just like getting peer diagnosed with autism, honestly.
Legitimately, yes. And actually, if you are an undiagnosed autistic child or unsupported, you are far more likely to develop DID. And I wasn't diagnosed with autism until I was 19. I've definitely had people in the community resonate a lot with what I've said, and even some people realize, oh shit. Maybe me too. And like, I'm not a licensed professional. I can point people towards resources. I can't diagnose people. I'm always down to be a listening ear and talk about my experiences and things like that and like the knowledge I do have, but I am not a psych professional.
Right.
I can point you in the right direction of resources and stuff like that, but I am not a psych professional. But
I love you getting that in there for our legal. Thank
you. Legally, like, I cannot
our legal, which is me.
Legally binding medical advice I cannot give. I can give friendly advice as somebody who lives and deals with this, and luckily, like, my friends, family, my partner have all been incredibly caring and thoughtful about it. I told my family and they were just like, oh, this makes your childhood make so much goddamn fucking sense. But like, that was an ordeal to self like realize too, mostly because it wasn't against my own will. Somebody forced me to realize because they wanted to prove they were smarter than everybody else in the room. And that was a very hard thing to come to terms to.
Yeah.
Because also, you don't do that. Like, if you suspect somebody has DID, you do not tell them, because that can trigger psychological collapse. That is advice I will give right now. You do not do that. I started going to...
You're not prepared to handle the fallout.
No, absolutely not. I spiraled for several weeks because, like, one of the things that was hardest for me was realizing I was not the first host. I was not the first host. And that's usually, host is a term for somebody who is primarily the one up front.
Right.
I realize I am probably the third that we're aware of. And like, one of the first things, like, I felt like, oh God, I'm some weird fucked up body snatcher that stole my parents' kid from them. Like, that's not an accurate of what happened. But like, that's like my
would fuck you
initial
up,
feeling.
though.
That fucked me up a bit. And like I remember calling my mom late at night and like sobbing to her, like explaining like how I was feeling. And like thank God my mom knows how to deal with me. And she's just like, hey, cut that fucking shit out. It doesn't matter how many of you are in there. Every one of you is my kid. So don't think that way. And that's exactly what I needed to hear in that moment. I know that sounds like kind of harsh, but like sometimes that's exactly what I need.
No, especially those Appalachian mothers.
Well, my mom is from Cleveland Heights.
Oh my God, really?
My dad's side of the family is the Appalachian
Okay, never
side.
mind. I'm getting my wires crossed. It sounds like my mom, who is Appalachian.
Yeah, no. I am originally from Charleston, West Virginia. I come from a very Appalachian family. I was raised on a blend of Catholicism and backwoods Scotch-Irish Appalachian witchcraft. So it wasn't until adulthood I realized which was which.
Of course. But no, okay. Well, first of all, I do feel I feel a lot better about you sometimes getting ahead of me, because I am quite literally outnumbered. This is not fair.
You know what? I wanted to jokingly smack my boyfriend because I had a joke prepared when I was sitting him down to like talk about this. And, you know, I started explaining it and then he immediately goes, and he's like, so basically every time we've had sex, it's been an orgy. And I'm like, motherfucker, I was saving that joke for the end, goddammit. Humor is the best medicine for me, and he knows that, and he was quick with it.
But no, I am really glad that you brought that up. Thank you for sharing, because I do think it's really important to raise awareness, especially to counter a lot of the negative stereotypes that exist.
Oh yeah. Just, I remember when I first became self-aware, somebody tried to be like, oh, have you ever seen Split? And I'm like, fucker, what? And then they tried to recommend another one that was, again, like somebody who like was secretly a murderer, and I'm like, I don't want to watch that. It's like the same reason why, honestly, I don't like a lot of what's out there in the media depicting trans folk, because mostly it's us being miserable, it's us getting abused, sexually assaulted. I don't want to see that. I want to see trans joy. Is there trans joy? Like somebody I remember once, like they tried to get me to watch Euphoria, and they're like, oh yeah, there's a trans character, and I'm like, do they get abused? And they're like, well, yeah, and I'm like, I don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like point blank, and they try to like convince me to want to. I'm like, no. Like, that is my lived experience. I don't want, like, in this case, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see that lived experience because I don't want it perpetuated. That's the only lived experience we have. Because while, yeah, I've gone through a lot of shit for being trans, I've also experienced a lot of joy and wonderful community and all these great things that are far more important to me than the dark bits, you know? So it's just like, I do have to say, if you want what I think is the best representation of DID I have ever fucking seen, it is Moon Knight, which is the episodic series Marvel has done. Because I don't think it was ever, like, they don't do, like, TV shit anymore.
Yeah, no, it's all so weird and compartmentalized. But yeah, it's Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight, right?
I believe so, yes. And oh my God, like, that is the most accurate fucking representation I've ever seen of DID. It's definitely still a dramatized version of it. But, like, I'm watching it because it was my friend who also has DID who's just like, hey, watch this with me. I've seen it. I think you need to watch it. And like, at points I was crying because I felt so seen watching this. Like they really did their research before and like were so thoughtful about it. And they're doing a second season. And I'm like,
that's so good.
Disney boycott. But I'm just like, God damn it.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
okay, I can't officially endorse watching the Disney series on this podcast on account of the boycott. However, this sounds very good that it exists. It's good that it exists.
If you can watch it in ways that don't support Disney, I am all for that. But it's just like, you know, it sucks when there's good representation, but it's done by not so great entities, you know?
Yeah, it sucks where the money to get stuff made well comes from.
Yeah.
Boo.
Evil.
Boo.
But it is legitimately great representation. I truly felt so seen in that. And like my drag will always be very much, I want to be a voice for, because like, while I definitely think certain parts of talking about mental health have gotten better and more open, it is usually, somebody I talked to recently put it in a really good way, kind of quote unquote, soft mental illness. So things that are typically like anxiety, depression, things that are more like normalized that people aren't as fearful of.
Less stigmatized.
Stigmatized, where like, yeah, people will have plenty of places to talk about that. But when you get into like the more scary stuff, like bipolar, BPD, dissociative disorders, things like that, people who deal with psychosis, schizophrenia, it's still mostly like, hey, cut that out.
Yeah.
There is not as much understanding. There's not as much care. There's not as much grace granted to us. Because, trust us, we don't want to be like this. This is just how our brains unfortunately function. And a lot of times it's due to things completely outside of our control, like genetics or, again, trauma. I do say you are not responsible for the trauma done onto you, especially as a child. You are responsible for healing yourself, though. That is the one thing I'm like, you cannot let what happened to you allow you to destroy other people.
Right.
And I've seen that many times, and it is the one thing I am just like, no, that is not an excuse. You need to work on yourself. You need to put in the work, because damaging other people because you've been damaged is never okay.
Absolutely. One thing that as you've been talking, one thing that I really like is the way that you use the phrase self-aware, because I don't often hear that used as a framework for like people's realizations about their mental health. Like people will talk about diagnosis, or they'll talk about like quote unquote developing, but I think it's really useful to realize that like this was always there and I just didn't always have the language for it. Like the language was kept from me.
It was truly, I was not aware though, because a lot of times how DID functions is most of the person is not aware that they are a system, like fully unaware. Like I have certain memories like locked away and stuff like that from like previous hosts and stuff like that. And again, I just thought that was regular PTSD, like blocking the memories out. But like, and that's the thing with DID. Most people who have it are not aware that they have it. And a lot of times, like, it can't be really treated with psych meds. Like, sort of like if they have anxiety, PTSD, certain things attached with it, like that can be treated with medication, sure. But like having like these multiple pieces and stuff like that can be treated with psych meds. It can only be really treated with psychotherapy. And even then, historically, psychotherapy for DID has been mostly formed around fusion and like creating the singular personality again, which unfortunately that's just not going to work the majority of the time. It's not how our brains are pretty much designed to function anymore. It can actually cause more issues than that. I'm perfectly fine being 13 people in a meat suit.
Yes!
I function quite well, actually. They're hilarious. Like how I like to describe the experience, it's like we're all in a van together. I'm usually the one in the driver's seat, me, Max, and then there's Murdoch, who mostly comes out when I'm at work. And so we switch off most of the time. Sometimes during specific situations, other people might take the wheel, but most people in my system are fine chilling in the back seat. Nice. Taking a nap or talking amongst themselves. Like I have a constant, like I used to think I had the most weird like internal monologue that was constantly contradicting itself. And no, it's an internal dialogue is what's going on.
That would do it.
Yeah, I'm just like I experience this thing where like I'll feel an emotion but it doesn't feel like it belongs to me. Like, and I'm just like, why am I feeling, like why do I suddenly feel angry? Like I don't have any reason to be angry. And it's because like, no, it's somebody else who's angry about a specific thing. And and here's the thing, it's still technically my emotion, but it has like this extra disconnect to it because it's not necessarily coming from my own like conscious state.
I see.
Yeah. It's a very interesting thing. I think, honestly, the person who witnesses me switching back and forth between the most would be my drag dad fair, because they work with me. So they get to truly see both Max and Murdoch. Like, they can figure out who's fronting just by how we carry ourselves.
Oh.
I do, and what I appreciate about him, he doesn't treat it like some kind of circus sideshow. I think some people try to catch it and, like, think it's some kind of like magic trick and things like that. But
or like they're so proud of themselves for being able to notice it.
Yeah, like truly like Fair being able to see that and see like know which one of us he's talking to really comes from just a place of truly knowing and loving and caring. I love my drag dad so dearly. He has done so much for me both in and out of drag, and like truly is one of my best friends.
I'm so glad that you have that support and that it can be in and out of drag. That's awesome. This might be kind of a softball question, but I'm curious. What do the other folks in there think about Bram, like as a character?
He is absolutely a character. I have actually gotten the question a couple of times if Bram himself is an alter, if he is like one of my parts. He is not. Now,
no.
Let's say I were to go through a split again, which could happen, like especially if I go through a very stressful event, things like that. maybe one day, maybe the, you know, system will manufacture Bram as his own entity, but Bram is simply just a character, and not all of them are actually into drag. That's the thing. Not all of us have the same gender identities, sexualities, preferences, things like that, which is why I like using the label queer.
Yeah.
Because it's both for my gender and both for like my sexuality, because it's just like it kind of fluctuates, or feels like it fluctuates due to that. But like some of them are very artistically inclined, think drag is like freaking awesome. The others are just kind of indifferent. They're like, oh yeah, that's your thing. We all have our different hobbies. That's the thing. Like my apartment is filled with all these different hobbies because like we all like different shit.
Oh.
And that is...
Oh, wow, that would get expensive.
Oh, you have no idea.
The rent for 13 people has to be crazy.
Yeah, no. Yeah, the rent being all my medical bills. Oh my God. But no, yeah, like it's kind of fun. It's like having your own internal community. I have 13 in total. Initially, when I became self-aware, I had 12, but I went through some stressful events in like this time last year that caused another split. And because like some of these like I thought some of these alters were like OCs I made up in high school. And I just thought I was so overly attached to them and like stuff like that. And then I realized, oh no, they're actually just fucking living there, yeah. Which is hilarious. And I think it's why I got so into D&D and like tabletop role playing as a kid, because it was like the one way for these characters to like kind of come out.
Right.
And now that I'm aware, like if they want to, they still kind of can. So it's just like it's very odd to explain, because to me this is just my life, but like for most people this is not how they function. So it's just it's odd, but also like again being self-aware, it's kind of nice. It's like I got my own little internal support system. I have one who literally bullies me into self-care. But yeah, no, it's interesting. And again, if I need to bounce ideas off of somebody, I can do it internally. It's just like, okay, committee of fags, what do we feel? What do we feel about this? Because the thing of it is, I got no straight people in this system. I got some cisgendered people in this system, but we are all queer as fuck.
Well, of course. No, yeah. I like the way you explain that in like the sense of an internal support system. It's definitely a lot less scary than people want to make it out to be.
Oh, absolutely. Like, and it can be scary. That's the thing. Like you can deal with like, there's what's called a persecutor. And that is usually an alter that essentially their kind of role and function is they want to protect the system from further trauma by destroying the system entirely. So I think that's where a lot of kind of the bad representation or like scary aspects come from. But a lot of times, like with therapy, persecutors can become the biggest protectors. And I've gone through that myself, like going through therapy and stuff like that. I mean, I've been in therapy since I was 14. I got into therapy specifically for DID about September of last year. And it usually takes about a year to get a DID diagnosis. I got mine in 6 months. And my therapist who diagnosed me was basically like, yeah, I could basically tell halfway through our first session that you definitely had DID. But insurance requires a large amount of like evidence in order to be able to officially put that diagnosis in. Essentially, part of the diagnostic criteria is they have to rule out every other dissociative disorder.
Oh, so like, yeah, like go through the screening process for every other dissociative disorder. Shit.
Yep. And mind you, I was going to this therapist twice weekly. So this isn't just like a once a month or like once a week type of deal for 6 months. I was going twice a week.
This is intensive, yeah.
I got my diagnosis right before either right before or right after the 3rd week of Kingpin. That is when I got my official diagnosis. And the thing with diagnosis is like, one, there's a paywall behind getting diagnosed, but unfortunately, just because, you know, therapy's fucking expensive, y'all. So, but the thing of it is, a diagnosis isn't going to change. That is how you function, how you live. So, like, having the support and being able to go to a professional is great. I don't really like the gatekeeping around like, oh, you can't say you have DID if you're not officially diagnosed. Let me tell you, your brain does not care if you have an official diagnosis or not, especially when this is an underdiagnosed thing to begin with.
Right. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Like, the diagnosis is mainly, like, the difference of, like, 1, validation, and 2, like, access to, like, structural resources.
Exactly. It's similar how I feel about, like, autism and things like that. So I joke that I have Schrodinger's autism diagnosis because my therapist is just like, oh, you're definitely autistic. However, I'm worried if we put this down on paper, some doctors might limit your access to gender-affirming care.
That's honestly a very smart clinician.
So on paper, I am not autistic. In reality, I am very fucking autistic. You look at my parents. Yeah, there was no escaping that.
There was none.
Love Mama and Papa Stroke-her, but they did absolutely give me autism.
Well, who else? Who else would have? That's the question.
Like, I look at, like, my other family members, and I'm just like, I'm not having that conversation with y'all. Definitely us, like getting that Schrodinger's diagnosis at 19 was, like, a light bulb moment for my family. And they're like, oh, because one of the reasons they'd never picked up on it as a child is because I am just the gayer clone of my father.
Right.
So if they think he doesn't have a problem, they're not going to think I have a problem.
No, exactly. Yeah.
My dad also jokes I'm a second-generation drag king. My dad was a punk performer.
I've seen pictures, yeah.
Yeah, like, if y'all want to know the blueprints for Bram fucking Stroke-her, it is my father. And, you know, he's like, oh, what I did was basically its own form of drag. So I was just like, okay, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I see it. It's in the genetics.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk some more about your birthday show because we've mentioned it a few times. First of all, for anyone who like didn't see it promoted or anything, like I think that this is really important. Tell me a little bit about the name and the theme and the concept for the show.
So this year I turned 28. I know I'm geriatric in the eyes of most of the Cleveland drag community. At least that's what all of my friends tell me.
I would never say that.
It's fine. People make bald jokes. They make old jokes. It's fine. But the name of the show was Surviving the 27 Club because I was turning 28. And I truly did not think I would make it this long. I never saw myself making it past my teens. I dealt with heavy depression and SI from a very young age. Like, I'm talking, like, very sadly young age. And so this was kind of a celebration of, like, you know what? I'm actually excited I'm aging. I'm excited I get to age, especially as a trans person, especially as a queer person. And just, we don't all get that, unfortunately. So this was a celebration of that, of aging. I initially wanted to get a cast that was pretty much like 27 and up. I thought Marquis was 24. My drag dad is like, no, he's 27. You should ask him. I asked Marquis, and Marquis just like, just so you know, I'm only 24. And I'm like, I want you anyways. Yeah. I mean, it's Marquis Gaylord.
It's Marquis Gaylord. I feel like he gets it.
Yes. And so everybody was primarily 27 and up, or 26 and up. Like, that was kind of the age range I got. I am older than Ryder Slowly by almost exactly 1 month. Knowing that is how my boyfriend won a t-shirt at Kingpin. Because I think Ryder asked a question, like, if anybody can guess how old I'm turning, they get a free t-shirt. And I literally just, like, mentioned to Brian, my boyfriend, that, like, oh, yeah, like, Ryder's just, like, a month younger than I am. And he's just like, I know this answer.
That's amazing.
And anytime he comes to my shows, he will be wearing that shirt. But unfortunately, I did have some last-minute drops due to transportation issues.
Right.
So Miser Malicious got Crucifixen became the token drag queen in the show, and they're 22. So definitely out of the age range.
That's a baby. Speaking as a 22-year-old, that's a baby.
and then Malacunt LaFool had to drop out last minute. Their ride backed out on them last minute. And I wasn't even going to look for somebody to replace Mal in the cast because I was just like, you know what? It is the day of, like, I got so... And then Ronnie's just like, I could do it. And
Ronnie, the youngest person ever.
The thing of it is, like, Ronnie might be young. They are incredibly mature for their age. They're so thoughtful for their age. Like, I think a lot of people focus on Ronnie's age, and truly, I'm just like, no, what you should be focusing on is the raw fucking talent.
Absolutely.
That is Ronnie Raff. And I was just like, you realize you only have like a 4-hour notice, right? And they're like, yeah, I can do it. And I'm like,
no, he is a professional.
He is. That's
he is
the
professional thing. For any age,
for
not just
any
for
age.
his
Ronnie
age.
Rath is truly one of the most professional people I've worked with. Like he will absolutely do the thing. And so like he immediately hopped on, like, you know, fully like on time, ready to go, mug looking great. He was emulating, because this was supposed to be an all trans show and Ronnie is not trans. They were trying to emulate one of our favorite local trans masks, which is Maine Void, with their mug, and kind of go robotic with it. And I loved that.
Yay.
I loved that. Ronnie also donated all their tips to Trans Ohio, which was very
that's
lovely.
so responsible.
Very lovely of them. Like I made it very clear with my benefit show, because I know money is tight for everybody. People could donate their tips if they wanted to. They didn't have to. If they needed those tips, they're more than, like, some people donated some of their tips, other people's like just kept all of it. Like I was just like, it is fully up to you, because money is tight, y'all. And I want my people to be paid. I will say with my birthday show, one of my favorite moments for fundraising was after my second number. Like I've talked about with Disturbia, I am mostly undressed for this number. I had a pair of pants off to the side to put on for the rest of the gig, but I said, okay, I did bring pants. However, if somebody donates $20 to be given to Trans Ohio right now, I will go the rest of the show without my pants. And then immediately my boyfriend stands up to go walk over and hand over that $20.
I love that.
And then I said, okay, if we can add another $30 on top of that, I will also take my shirt off and do the rest of the show in my underwear. So if y'all are like, why is this motherfucker in just a pair of Puma boxers and socks? That is why.
I was wondering what happened when I saw the picture.
$50 is $50, and it was all towards a good.
$50 is $50.
Oh my god, it was kind of a group effort to get to that last 30, but like Crusoe was just like 1 second running downstairs to grab their tips from their previous number to put towards me having to take my shirt off. And honestly, I kind of just want to do more shows just mostly naked, because it was so, oh my god, temperature wise, perfect. I wasn't overheating. It was fantastic.
Literally though.
No.
Like I remember for like autism PowerPoint night, I seriously considered doing my PowerPoint shirtless, because that would have been so much more comfortable. It ended up not working out for the number that I did. But I just think it's so much more breathable.
Oh yeah, no, it was fantastic. I was just wearing so because I have like special like packing boxers, I wear under regular boxers. So like I'm wearing like 2 boxers. So I could have joked, I'll take my boxers off if like we get another, and then just it's another pair of boxers.
That's burlesque right there.
Exactly. That would have been a good gag. I might say that.
You should actually do that for a number. You should plan to do that for a number, actually.
I'll be like,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'll be like, give me $20, I'll take my underwear off. More underwear. No, but like seeing my boyfriend like run up immediately to give it, I'm like, you see everything
like,
off
you,
to begin with.
You see that for free.
You see that for free. You'll see even more off after the show. Come on, bud. But, you know, all going to a good cause.
Yes.
I love my boyfriend. We'll be celebrating 7 years this coming December.
Congratulations.
He was there for my debut. He isn't at every single one of my shows, because he does work like a very like, it's not even 9 to 5. He's usually getting there at like 7 a.m. for his job. But it's just like, he's also an old man. Mm-hmm. Y'all might think I'm an old man. He's older than me, so yeah. He's usually in bed by like 9 or 10. Mm-hmm. So him being out late for one of my shows always means a lot to me, because I'm like, buddy, you don't have to.
Aw, yeah.
Because when you have to get up that early, I'm just like. And then after my birthday show, we didn't go to bed till like 2 or 3, and then he's still getting up at 5 to go to work. Like that's some dedication.
That is dedication. Wow, and I'm also like. Ow, in sympathy, because I've done that. Oh.
Yeah, that's love right there.
Yeah.
He's not super into drag. Drag and burlesque isn't really his thing, but he talks about how much he loves seeing me do what makes me happy. Yeah. And, like, get a partner like that. They might not be super into your hobby, but as long as they're happy that you're happy, that's the biggest green flag, folks.
That's really sweet, yeah. So another thing about the benefit, it got some media coverage afterwards.
Oh my god, I did not know that was happening.
Yeah.
I did not know that was happening.
Well, first of all, tell people, you can tell people, you can say it. What is the article that was published?
So, wait, I have it right here. Because I read it out loud to my therapist today.
Nice.
Because I had therapy right before this interview. And I read it out to them. So this was for Yellow Scene magazine. They were actually, specifically, they were interviewing Emma, the owner of No Class, and like the things that No Class does. But they came for like photos and stuff like that of the night of my show.
Yeah.
And the name of the article is Punk Rock is Political, Cleveland's Gay Metal Bar Won't Let You Forget. It is written by Vincent Chandler. It is an amazing article.
Yeah.
I think it was Tuesday, Emma sends me the link to it.
Right.
And I'm just like, holy shit. Like, I'm expecting just maybe like a little blurb. Like, no, there's like a good chunk where they talk about like the show.
A good quarter or third of the article is about the show and how cool it is.
And I was just like fully blown away. And I was just like, holy shit, I produced my very first show.
And it made the papers.
It's like I have it in my link tree on my profile.
That's where I went to find it.
I highly suggest going to read it because like not even like this isn't just about like my show or anything like that, but No Class is such a home to so many of us here in Cleveland, and seeing Emma get her flowers for all the work that she does, even outside of No Class, like I love to see it. And it's just like it really touched my I got the link while I was at work, and I'm like reading it trying not to cry. When I was reading it out loud to my therapist today, I was like tearing up a bit because like truly No Class and the community that I have met through No Class means so much to me. And like it was just that truly that is a night where I am going to think fondly of until the day I die. That, like, when I say that is the best birthday I've ever had, I genuinely mean that this has been the best birthday I've ever had. And it's being surrounded by people I love and adore, supporting an amazing cause. And my goal was to reach 500. I really did not expect to meet that fundraising goal. And we got $551.
Yeah. Where did that one come from? Do we know?
Well, I was also like selling like stickers and things like that. Oh, also part of the fundraising, we had an intermission game where it was basically an impromptu roast of Bram Stroke-her, where essentially you could donate for every $1 you donated to go to Trans Ohio, you would get a card to write a one-line roast of me. The best one won $10 directly from me. And then if you did $20 or more, you got a certain amount of time to roast me on the mic.
Nice.
Ronnie Rath won the written one. It was Bram has broken so much furniture. All the furniture in his apartment has unionized. It was something along those. For people who don't know, in the past 4 years, I have broken 4 bed frames and a futon due to activities. That is why if you go to my bio on Instagram and you hit the click more, you see the last line, which is Bram the Bed Breaker. You can thank Butch Thespian for that, and that is what I'm in their phone as.
That's lore. That's lore, baby.
That's lore. I work at a furniture store now, so that
they must be really scared to see you come in. Honestly.
Yeah, I need it. We still need a new futon. If people want to donate to the new futon fund,
listen, couch fund, do you want me to put your Venmo in the show notes to donate?
Please, if anything, not for me, but for my poor fucking roommate. Because I broke it right before they moved in.
Oh no.
Because they were like, listen. Once I move in, the rule is no sex outside the bedroom, and but like until then. Do whatever.
Oh no, that was a damning until then.
Yeah. Like I literally broke it within days before he moved in. We are an apartment of horrors.
Okay, yeah. So I will be putting the futon fund in the show notes.
Please, the broken bed fund. My current bed has lasted almost a full year. Next month it will be a full year, and that is the longest a bed has lasted me. It is essentially a metal box spring I got for $99 off of Amazon because that's all I could afford.
Yeah.
We have shattered wooden frames. We bent a metal frame fully out of shape. I have once again broken those. Apparently, I'm good at breaking things. Whether people or objects.
Apparently, that's what we're learning today.
This is both an invitation, because I'm polyamorous. If you want to try that ride, and you are brave enough, Go for it. You can hit on me. I don't care. Just know that you might not survive.
I think I have to cut us at shooting your shot on my podcast. Keep that to your Instagram close friends, Bram. Okay, now that I can recover my dignity, I have just a couple more questions for you.
Yes.
This one's kind of off topic. So I know you talked about costuming a little bit, and I just want to give you your flowers for you are one of our noted rhinestone kings in Cleveland now. You are so good at rhinestoning. So I'm just wondering, first of all, tell me whatever you want to tell me about rhinestoning. Second of all, do you have any advice for performers, especially kings, who are hoping to get into embellishing their own costume pieces?
Oh, absolutely. Also, me becoming a rhinestone king is fully the fault of Ryder Slowly
yes.
and Bella Sin. Both of their faults. Both of their faults. And now I have infected my drag brother. He was up late last night stoning. But one thing trust me, I understand being on a budget. Like, y'all need to know, I didn't have a job for over a year. I got this job halfway through Kingpin. I did Kingpin on a shoestring budget.
Yeah.
When it comes to... So I mostly get my rhinestones from Planet Rhinestone.
Me too.
Love them. I specifically get their jelly rhinestones. And what jelly rhinestones are is basically it's compressed silicone. They're very lightweight. So the thing of it is glass rhinestones, that weight adds up. This is a cheaper alternative. It's lightweight. And here's how you really get your bang for your buck. They have these transparent, I think like they're
called Ghost. Yeah.
Ghost. If you just need if you just need to add sparkle and you want it to basically be the same color, whatever you're putting it on top of, it will be that color. Now with the glue, it might be a tad darker, but for the most part, it will look exactly like that color. I do the bulk bags, and the bulk bags are $40. You can get them in different sizes. I am a big fan of big stones, so I get I think it's the 6mm ones, and it's like, in those bags, it's by weight. It's about 10,000 stones for $40 of the 6mm.
That's like multiple projects potentially.
Potentially. I went through multiple bags of those 10,000 through the course of Kingpin.
Oh, I'm sure.
Those transparent ghost stones, like if you just need the sparkle, if you're not too worried about color, that is a great place to start. I really like using E6000 Fabrifuse because the great thing about that is you don't have to pre-stretch fabric before you put it down. I put that thing on literal like spandex and like waistlines and things like that, like not stretched, and it will still stretch and move just fine.
Good, yeah.
But that is like my go-to for that. But that's specifically if you're doing it on fabric. You'll probably need regular E6000 if you're doing stuff to metal or like pleather, plastic, things like that. But if it's like to fabric, Fabrifuse E6000 is what I recommend. It's also way less odor. Like, you do not necessarily need to be wearing a respirator like you would with regular E6000. You still want to be in a pretty decent ventilated area, but definitely that is my big tip, especially like if you are short on a budget, like if you got a tight budget. Those transparent ghost rhinestones, if you just need to add sparkle, that is the way to do it. Bulk buy them. But also, again, I like the jelly rhinestones. Again, they're affordable, they're lightweight, but yeah, that is like my biggest tip when it comes to, especially if you're getting started into drag and you just want to kind of like try it out. It's very meditative. I did not realize how much stoning would be meditative and frustrating at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I really love about it, is the way I get into a kind of flow state about it. And especially like, it's so fun to me where like I can be rhinestoning and also like plotting the performance, like running through ideas for the mix in my head. And I've had the issue where it's like, oh, well, I don't know, because I'm out of drag, I'm a creative writer. So like I'll be thinking about, oh man, I really don't know what I'm gonna write. I guess I should stone. And then I'll be stoning for like an hour, and it's like, okay, well now I all the ideas are coming to me. I know what I'm gonna write, but I'm in the middle of stoning. So I'll get to the end of that row and then like type something in my notes app really quick and then get back to it. So it becomes, I don't know, it becomes like a kind of creative fuel.
Oh, absolutely. Like I will put on a podcast. I'll put on I'm so bad at watching TV nowadays. I don't have the attention span for it. Like I'll put on something I've watched a million times just in the background for the noise. A lot of times I do podcasts. I listen to a lot of different podcasts. Horror anthology podcasts. I listen to a lot of history podcasts. I'm very particular about true crime podcasts because, like, you know, you do have a lot of the
ethics of it all.
Yeah, it's like I do try to find ones that are talking, like, one, they're not glorifying what happened. They're respectful of victims, and they're not, like... Again, I'm very particular about that kind of stuff because, I mean, I grew up with a lot of, like, true crime horror stuff because my mom was really into crime shows, that kind of thing. And then it's just, like, I grew up and I just kind of, like, realized, a lot of these aren't super ethical in how they handle it. They're not respectful of the families and things like that. So, but, like, usually podcasts like that is what I'm listening to. Like, sometimes it's this podcast, actually. I think I'm still the reigning king of the quickest guess, right?
You are still. Yeah,
What was it, less than 2 minutes? Or?
Yeah, like less than 2 minutes, like before I put up the sticker to say who it was.
Yeah, I just... I know my local kings, okay?
Yes.
I am a fan of kings through and through.
Yeah, and I don't think you've ever actually, like, missed a guess. Like, you've never guessed incorrectly, I don't think.
Usually if I don't have an idea, I won't make the guess. Like, and sometimes I fully miss it, because sometimes, you know, I'm busy and I don't see, like, the posts. Like, again, like, with these other, like, seeing those quotes, I'm like, I know exactly which faggot said that. Like, honestly, when the Rizzlers went up, I was just like, it was seeing David Tennant. I immediately knew. And I'm like, who do I know that is obsessed with David Tennant? Edward actually made my costume for the Ohio Burlesque Festival. I rhinestoned the whole thing, but, like, I immediately...
But no, the drapery is so beautiful.
And it snaps off in pieces and stuff like that. Like, it's
functional.
Oh, it is. And I was just like, because I knew that, you know, he was moving on to greater and better things in New York City, and I'm just like, I need this from you before you go.
Yeah.
But, like, it was so beautiful. I need to add more stones. That's the thing. I need to add more stones.
You'll always need to add more stones.
Yeah. I have a leather jacket that I need to stone. The thing of it is, Dandy, my beloved son, loves to get into places where he shouldn't. I've had to wipe E6000 off his whiskers.
Oh, shit. You and Twisted need to bond, if you haven't already, over your cats getting into your projects.
So Twisted has been, you know, at the drag festival in Austin, Texas, and my drag brother has been cat sitting. I went over to Twisted and Herman's for the first time, and they're not even there. They're not even in the state, because, like, Judas brought to, like, feed their cats, and I was just, like, taking photos and sending it Twisted, and I was just like, they're like, I can't believe that you've come over, and we're not even there to hang out. We're going to have to actually figure out a time where we can actually hang out when we're in the same state.
Gay people would do that.
Yes.
We would do that.
Yes. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. I love those cats. Quantum and Rufus, love them.
Quantum, yeah. Rue, when I sleep over there, Rue, like, sleeps on my chest or sometimes my face. Like,
see, with Dandy, with my son, you need to sleep with your feet covered or he will chomp.
I'm told.
Yeah, he's a foot muncher. When Dyke Tyson was staying over during the course of Kingpin, he made the mistake of sleeping with his leg fully out of the covers. And at like 2 a.m., he got rudely woken up by Dandy chomping on sole of his foot.
The sole of his foot, not even toes.
When he came the next 2 weeks later, he still had a mark on his foot.
That's powerful.
He's like, I am so sorry I accidentally kicked Dandy when he bit me. And I'm like, fucker deserved it.
Literally.
I'm just like, you were asleep. That was an involuntary reflex. I understand if you accidentally kicked my cat because he, like, chomped on your foot in your sleep. But, yeah, no, Dandy is a menace. I love him. He's my perfect angel baby who does nothing wrong, but at the same time is an absolute menace to society.
Yeah. I think we're going to need to run the math on, like, the percentage of Kings on the Aux episodes that have featured a cat either present for the recording or in the show transcript significantly. Can somebody else who is not producing the podcast run those numbers for me? Thank you.
Yeah, no, if Dandy was here, we would be stopping every 2 minutes because he would have something to say. He's a very chatty cat. He will scream because we're not paying enough attention to him, even if he is actively in our lap.
Literally. Yeah.
I love him.
Baby.
But-
Well, I think that is all of the questions I have for you. Is there anything that you would like to add?
No, I think that's it. I think I've done a lot of rambling.
It was organized?
Organized
It was
rambling.
purposeful.
Organized, purposeful rambling. I think that's how I would describe my train of thought most of the time. Yeah, actually, the organized part, I don't know about.
Well, we'll stick with purposeful for sure.
Purposeful,
I think
yes.
I'm so glad that I get to share this conversation with people, and yeah, this was a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to Kings on the Aux. This episode featured Cleveland drag king Bram Stroke-her and was hosted by Cleveland drag king Caius Crow. You can find Bram's looks, performance videos, and upcoming show dates on Instagram at Bram Stroke-her. That's BRAM_stroke_her. You can find me on Instagram at Caius Crow. That's CAIUS Crow. Questions, comments, compliments, complaints? Send me a message on Instagram at kingsontheaux or email me at caiuscrow@gmail.com. I'll talk to you soon on our next episode. Thank you for supporting local drag.